Hello aspirants, a very warm welcome on the YouTube channel of ANALYST IAS. Our today's topic for focus of the day is the very important, which is the recent Saudi Arabia and Iran collaboration. So we will see why and news, as both have been rivals. Now they are collaborating and broker is China. So it is very important topic which comes under the international relations. We will understand the Cold War कि उसके पीछे reason क्या थे, what are the terms of the agreement, then what will Saudi Arabia gain from this agreement, what will Iran gain from this agreement, what will China gain from this agreement, and what has been the response of the US. After that we will discuss our today's prelims practice questions which would be based on this topic. So stay tuned. So why and news? So recently Saudi Arabia and Iran, which were the West Asia's major powers, have been at odds with each other for decades. They agreed to restore the diplomatic relations last week in an agreement which was brokered by the China. Now let's understand the Cold War, the decades-old Cold War. So the rivalry between the two dates back to pre-revolution Iran, when they both competed with each other for regional dominance. So what happened basically, after the 1979 revolution, Iranian monarchy basically turned into a Shia theocratic republic. Now, the formal ties between both the countries collapsed in 2016 when Saudi embassy in Tehran, the capital of Iran, was overrun by protesters following the Riyadh's execution of a Shia cleric. So it's very clear that Iran is a Shia dominant country and here Saudi was Sunni. That is why they both are fighting. Now here in this image, this is to explain you about the Cold War. So जो red में है, that is basically our allies of the Iran, and here in the blue, these are allies of the Saudi. And this blue and red, basically these are the regions of tensions where both have influence. What is happening right now is that Tehran here in Yemen, it's basically supporting the Houthi rebels, but here the Saudi Arabia backs the Hadi government. Again in the Iraq, Saudi Arabia, it wants tie with the government, but here Iran basically backs the Shia groups which are there. In Syria, it backs the Assad government, Iraq, but here the Saudi Arabia backs the anti-Assad rebels. In the Lebanon, the Iran backs the Hezbollah, and here the Saudi Arabia have links with the Hariri. So these are basically the major areas of tensions between both the countries. Moreover, 2019 में एक अटैक हुआ था सऊदी अरेबिया में जो कि येमन से हुआ था. Houthi rebels ने ही किया था, which are backed by the Iran. We will look about it as well. So the terms of agreement, finer details are yet to be unveiled, but officials on the both sides say that according to the reports, the Iran had agreed to prevent further attacks on the Saudi Arabia and especially from the side of the Yemen. And Saudi Arabia, on its part, it agreed to rein in the Iran International, which is a Farsi news channel of Iran that is critical of the Iranian regime, which the Iranian intelligence itself has termed a terrorist organization. China is also planning to hold a cross-Gulf conference of Iran and the 6 Gulf monarchies. The 6 Gulf monarchies are Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman. These are the 6 monarchies. Now why Saudi Arabia accepted the deal? What will it gain? So West Asia has been undergoing strategic realignments in the recent years. In 2020, basically UAE became the first Arab country to normalize its relation with Israel in a quarter century. In the following years, Israel and the Arab countries deepened their partnerships. In 2021, Saudi Arabia, the UAE and their allies, they basically decided to end their failed blockade of the Qatar. The US is now one of the top oil producers in the world and is not as dependent on the Gulf countries as it used to be during the Cold War. This is the reason कि US is looking away in the recent year. Now, when Saudi oil facilities were attacked in 2019, we talked about this, for which Iran was widely blamed, the US looked away. It did nothing. This seems to have promoted the Saudis to look for an alternative solutions. Obviously, they will want an alternative solution for the Iran problem, and the solution which they came up with was to reach out to the Iranians. Here, these were the drones which are used. The drones were Houthi Qasef-1, which is a model which is supplied by the Iran. So they basically were launched from Yemen and they attacked Riyadh, Qurashi oil fields and Bukak in 2019. Why Iran accepted the deal? So basically Iran is undergoing through one of the toughest phases of economic isolation and domestic pressure due to the sanctions from the West. Its economy is deteriorating and its currency, which is the riyal, is struggling in the international market. And according to the Iranian media reports, China allowed Tehran to withdraw parts of $20 billion funds that were frozen with Chinese bank after the US sanctions. So these funds will help intensively the Iranian economy. A deal with Saudi Arabia under the Chinese mediation, as Chinese have warm relations with both the countries, could open up economic lifelines for the Iran as well. And strategically, Iran knows that such a deal could complicate American effort to rally Arab countries, which are the Saudi Arabia and Israel, against it. So economically and strategically, a reconciliation is beneficial for the Iran, and at least in a tactical sense, we can say so. What will China gain? Because China को कुछ तो फायदा होना चाहिए. So US has a history of military interventions in the West Asia, but the record of China is clear there in that region. Moreover, China is a leading buyer of Saudi oil and the largest trading partner of Iran. It have basically warm relations with both of them. That is why they are on a single table. Now China will gain economic, regional and strategic benefits with the stability in the West Asia region. China is also trying to send a clear message to the countries in the global south, while the US is busy rallying the Western worlds to arm Ukraine to push back the Russia and weak the Moscow through sanctions. Basically, the China is quietly brokering peace in the global south. This is what is happening right now. But this increased role of China, it is playing in the West Asia, comes with various risks, as this area, this region is not stable. What are the other major initiatives in that region? That was the Camp David Agreement 1978, Oslo Accords, Israel-Jordan Treaty 1994, then Middle East Quartet 2002, Abraham Accords 2020. But the main feature was that US was at a constant presence. But here in this initiative recently which occurred, US is absent and China is present. How has the US responded? So officially, the US officials have welcomed the reconciliation. But from a strategic point of view, when we will see the US would be facing unpleasant questions about the agreement, US would not like to lose its influence in the West Asia, which it is losing. But now, when it looks at the region, it sees an ally, which was the Saudi, drifting further away, and a rival who it wanted to contain, which was Iran, making new friends, and its global challenger, which was China, spreading and deepening its influence in the region. तो तीन तरफ से इसको नुकसान हो रहा है, which the US had dominated since at least the Suez War of 1956. Now we will discuss our today's prelims practice question, that which of the following groups are backed by Iran in the Gulf region? Houthi rebels, Hezbollah, anti-Assad rebels, Hariri. Which of the above are correct? You can pause the video, think about it. We have discussed about this in this video. You can type the correct answer in the comment section to interact. Prelims practice question 2. Which of the following countries borders Iran? Azerbaijan, Armenia, Turkey, Afghanistan, Georgia. Select from the option given below. A similar question came in 2022, which was based on Afghanistan. So you can think about it and type the correct answer in the comment section as well. This was all about today's focus of the day session. Stay tuned with Analyst IAS for your better preparation. Have a great day.